Is it stimulus time already? Some people think so. Here's a headline out of Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. just a couple weeks ago. And it says, Trump stimulus checks. Will they be issued and could you receive one? But the question is, who needs stimulus checks when you get the Trump crypto stimulus instead? It's no accident that after the last 30 days, every single crypto project is pumping right now. And it's all by design, to say the least. And why is that? It always helps when you have headlines like this. It says, Trump's likely pick fuels RSR token rally to a multi-year high. And that's just one coin out of hundreds to come. And this isn't because of the MAGA mandate either to make America great again, but it's all a part of the illusionary wealth effect by pumping this so that people don't return to this. And this is something worth talking about. Let's do it. All right, as always, wanted to take a quick minute, share some thoughts in reference to this MAGA wealth effect that we're experiencing right now, why it is, and what's to come in the days ahead, because we haven't seen nothing yet with all this euphoria in the crypto space. And of course, as I mentioned before, this is all by design to divert your attention for what is real, true, tried, and tested, and that's gold and silver. But then again, there's a lot more to this story that even you may not be aware of, and that's what I'm going to cover today. So as always, if you guys want to see more of these quick takes, definitely hit the thumbs up button to show your support for the channel. Drop a comment down below because I do read them when I get a chance, and try to comment accordingly. But more important, take this video and share it so more people can get an alternative perspective as to what's really going on, so that they're not forced just to rely upon the mainstream media lies in the next coming weeks and months as we go through this great reset that has been strategically planned in 2025, in my personal opinion. So make sure you subscribe, share it so more people can join the community and hopefully learn something so they too can prosper in the days ahead. But real quick here, I want to take a minute to share with you some very interesting things that I was able to put together in reference to this current transition we're going through now. And of course, crypto is at the center of this. But in this video here, there's a couple things I want to make sure I bring to your point here, and it has everything to do with the fact that Trump's threats will lead to nations needing to make some very tough choices, and that means sending back all those dollars and Federal Reserve liabilities that's been parked dormant as reserves as a part of the old monetary system that I believe in 2025 will no longer be the primary tool used by the people. And so that's potentially trillions of dollars that might come back home to roost, and that's going to be very problematic on one end, because the second thing to that is that as a result of this second wave of inflation that is sure to come, it's going to be like pouring gasoline on a fire, and it's going to blaze high fast, and clearly Trump knows that. And to try to counter that is the third thing, which is why cryptos have to pump, and we ain't seen nothing yet, because as a way to counter that second wave of inflation that's coming, his idea of making America great again is making sure that every crypto holder within his country reaps some of the benefits of it, because the Trump ego is going to be hard for him not to want to own the wealth effect or transfer of wealth that people will experience through the crypto sector when he gets up on stage perhaps in the summertime and say something like, look at crypto portfolios, everybody's wealthy right now, everyone's 401ks is through the roof, all that stuff he typically loves to take ownership of when things are going good. But anyway, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So as of right now, this is reserve rights crypto token right now, and as we can see here, within the last 24 hours it has appreciated 74% based on mere rumors, probable pick that Trump will put in office. But then again, there's more to this story that you may not be aware of. And why is the crypto community so excited about this particular gentleman? So here in this article, as you can see here, it says Trump likely to pick fuels RSR token rally to multi-year high. It says the community has linked the 88% spike in the price of RSR token to Donald Trump, who is likely to pick Paul Atkins as the next SEC chair. And this is where it gets interesting. It says here, some members of the crypto community have linked the token's rise to rumors that Trump may appoint Commissioner Paul Atkins, who has previously advised the Reserve Rights Foundation, the entity behind the RSR token. And that little nugget there could be a clue into why Paul might be best suited to be the next chair. And so it might be worth your while to actually find out who Paul is and his involvement in crypto and how far does it go back. And so here on the screen here, you can see Paul Atkins above my head here, but Paul Atkins has a very interesting story, to say the least. And it's his involvement in crypto well before now that makes him a viable candidate to run the SEC, because this current Trump crypto pump, in my opinion, is done strategically for the incoming president because of the disastrous economy that he's been inherited from the regime that's currently in place right now, and that's Joe Brandon. But to give you a little bit of his background, it says Paul Atkins, CEO of Potomac Global Partners LLC, which provides consulting services regarding financial services industry matters, including regulatory compliance, risk and crisis management, public affairs, independent reviews, litigation support, and strategy. But prior to this, as you can see here, he served as the commissioner of the SEC during the Bush administration from 2002 to 2008. And so basically this job is nothing new to him. But then again, since he left the SEC SEC under the Bush regime and started Patamat Global Partners, he got involved in the crypto space directly by becoming co-chair of the Token Alliance back in 2017. And so it says since 2017, Mr. Atkins has led industry efforts to develop best practices for digital asset issuance and trading platforms as the co-chair of Token Alliance. And so there you have the idea that having previous experience working for the government, he then left, started his own firm, and then went right into crypto and became one of the cryptocurrency OGs that helped set up the whole ICO boom that took place in 2017 and 2018 in the crypto space. And so he played a key role in helping set up the infrastructure that we're now experiencing when it comes to the digital asset revolution that's in place right now. And so he is well beyond qualified to run the SEC now because we're going through this digital revolution that has been strategically placed under the Trump regime to make sure that this MAGA wealth effect is successful. And so the next question is, what exactly is the Token Alliance? And so here we have the Chamber of Digital Commerce, which is the overseer of the Token Alliance. And so here it says, the Token Alliance is an industry-led initiative of the Chamber of Digital Commerce, developed to be a key resource for tokenized networks and applications. Comprised of 400 plus industry thought leaders, technologists, and innovators, the Token Alliance has developed a series of tools and resources for industry and policymakers to make informed decisions when engaging the token economies. And at the very bottom here, Token Alliance co-chairs, Dr. Jim Newsom and Mr. Paul Atkins. And so I basically say all that to let you know that nothing is accidental, everything is intentional. The economic advisors in Trump's ear knew well in advance that Paul Atkins was going to be that person that they would tab for the role because he's been groomed for this from day one, in my opinion. But there's a reason to that. Donald Trump knows that a second wave of inflation is coming. Something is going to make that 2001 to 2002 inflation look small because the monetary system is going through changes right now, and they need as many covers as they can to make sure that the world, and in particular you, don't realize it's their fault. So on the screen here, you can tell what the probable scenario and how it might play out during Donald Trump's second term. And as we witness things peak out in 2022 at above 9%. Here we are now at the very bottom, and it's trending upward. And as we can see on the chart right here, this is everything when I zoom into it. And as you can see here, when things peaked out in June at 9% according to their measures, which we all know are still understated, the QT policies been able to bring things down somewhat, but nowhere near that 2% mandated target that's supposed to be fighting for. But then again, here we are now at the very bottom. This is in September, and it's peaked up since then to the point where now, and if you look at it a different way, here you have the Consumer Price Index, all items total for the United States in general. And this goes back to July 20th, right after we have that 15 days to slow the spread down above my head here. Here we have that same peak in June of 2020. We were at 1.37, which is a different way of looking at that 9% CPI figure, just calculated a different way. But then we see the QT process all the way through here to where it was looking promising until, as of November last year, it started to surge again. And as I zoom in here more, this is what we're looking at right now. So from January of this year, when it's at 0.54, as of March of this year is at 0.64. And unfortunately, it hasn't been updated since, but we see the trend. And so I say all that to basically lay out the fact that the crypto pump is coming just in time for the second wave because Donald Trump can't step into the White House knowing that he's inheriting a mess that he also helped start as a result of the economy shutting down and his signature going into those stimulus checks that went out to the world, which is a result of all the monetary expansion that we witnessed. And so the best way to counter probability of this second surge surpassing that 9% is to create the illusionary wealth effect utilizing crypto instead. And why not? Because that's why it was created in the first place. And then secondly, you factor in that the Federal Reserve is still cutting because of all the damage that's been done due to QT as it's driven up the government's borrowing costs through the roof, as on top of the banking fiasco that's still pending and the commercial real estate is also having an issue. Here you have the U.S. interest rate cut in December rises to 74.5% probability, which means the market is anticipating another 25 basis cut in the next couple days. And so ultimately, Donald Trump is going to need a lot more cuts to make this economy look prosperous. Or if you want to have any type of real chance at making this country great again, the only way to do it is through the wealth effect. And that's making everybody's pocket a little bit more plush so they feel wealthier. But in actuality, we know the currency is being destroyed. And as you can see here, everybody remember that during his presidency back in 2019, how he was on Jerome's head for not cutting even more because he wanted the markets to go a lot higher. But we got to cut our right during the 15 days to slow the spread. And ever since then, we've gone through a failed monetary experiment where Jerome Powell increased interest rates all the way up to where it's got to 5.33%. And so from August of 2023 up until August of this past year, they kept rates the same. But as we can see here, it's coming down. They're coming down fast. And what does that do? That's just like pouring more gasoline onto a fire, which will only fuel inflation even more at a time where they were not able to be successful in getting it back down to that 2% mandate. So not only do we got the second wave coming, Jerome Powell's putting more gas on top of it, which means it's about to shoot off even faster. And then the third problem Donald Trump is going to run into is the fact that as of right now, he's out here threatening the world with the probability of 100% tariffs passed on BRICS nations, which is basically saying 100% tax on all goods that's coming back into this country. And we know that's not going to work. If you are one of those countries, you got to ask yourself a question. What are you going to do? Are you going to bow down to Donald Trump, or are you going to continue your strategy and ramp up the de-dollarization push, which basically means selling off even more of your assets and sending them back home and let Donald Trump deal with it? And it just doesn't stop here, because as of yesterday, Donald Trump is talking even bolder and badder. Says Trump promises hell to pay in the Middle East if hostages are not released before he takes office. So then you have that probability of a war starting off, which doesn't help the dollar one bit, because if you're a nation in the Middle East, whether you're part of the BRICS or not, what are you going to do? If this guy's talking big and bad and threatening you, what are you going to do? You're going to stick it to him where it hurts most, and that's in the de-dollarization process. It's ultimately, the tariffs is like a tax, and these threats of hell to pay in the Middle East is the equivalent of sanctions. And so it should be no wonder why nations are looking for alternatives and ways to get away from the dollar. Here you have an article from 2 years ago, but it does a good job of painting a picture as to what's to be expected. It says, Washington's trigger-happy sanctions may push countries away from the dollar, says a think tank. And so at the end of the day, Donald Trump isn't making any friends. And I don't think this talking big and bad is going to work this time, because the world no longer needs Federal Reserve notes or the SWIFT system in order for business to flow smoothly. They have bilateral trade agreements, currency swaps, alternative payment systems, and if they wanted to, they can join the crypto train and start pumping it as well, which would be a way of siphoning destructive currencies into the crypto space. And so ultimately, we ain't seen nothing yet, because you better believe these bubbles are only going to get bigger, because there's going to be more dollars coming in. It's going to pump these things higher, and this is all cover for the destruction of the Federal Reserve note system. And so to wrap all this up, what exactly am I saying? Donald Trump is in the business of handing out a new form of stimulus checks that's not necessarily funded by the government, but it's going to come through the digital asset price appreciation of the crypto space. And so that's why he's setting up an advisory board full of crypto enthusiasts, because he needs this wealth effect to appear as if it's in the best interest of the American people. But all along, it's a part of the digital transformation out of the legacy system and into the new and rebranded, centrally controlled, globalist-led digital banking system that'll be controlled, operated, and ran by the same peoples that run the legacy system. Once again, if you know what's coming, hopefully you're prepared for the idea of trying to take advantage of where the funds are going to flow first. And so with all this being said, it's good to say gold and silver price action will probably be paused, if not sold off, because a lot of speculators will end up dumping true, tried, and tested money to chase gains in the crypto space. And so once again, for those that participate in the crypto space, it could be a great opportunity to scoop up even cheaper metals on the back end as a part of your monetary insurance plan against a dying currency, and then again be a recipient of some of this price appreciation that Donald Trump will afford the American public as a part of his crypto stimulus plan that I believe he wants to accomplish perhaps within the first 6 months of his administration, so that heading into the summertime, everybody can look at their phones and say, man, I'm feeling wealthier these days. And then he can go on the podium and say, look at your 401ks, the stock market is at an all-time high. Look at your crypto wallets at an all-time high. America's never been better before. And once again, this is all part of the plan that was set up well before now. It's just Donald Trump is being utilized to accomplish it. Whether unknowingly or willingly, we all know the crypto Trump effect is here. And it's good to say we ain't seen nothing yet. But anyway, as always, taking a minute trying to put together all these pieces of a puzzle to paint a more opportunistic picture as to what's going on and how this opportunity that's being rolled out to the world could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reap some of the benefits of a dying currency, which allows you more buying power temporarily to position yourself for after all this comes to a halt and it's all exposed for what it was really intended to do, which is to transition us out of the old and into the new. Because once again, don't forget what Klaus Schwab said. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy with it, whatever that means. Because one thing they don't want people to run back towards are things that are found on the periodic table. And exactly what I'm referring to as I zoom into these monetary mediums here in the middle. But anyway, that's all for this video here. Hope you found it informative, engaging, and entertaining all in one. And if you did, take this, share it so more people can find out what's really going on and get a much broader scope as to why there's a short window of opportunity for those to take advantage of this Trump crypto pump or Trump crypto stimulus, put it a better way, that's going to be available in 2025. And how it could be a good opportunity to make a lot of changes in your life, pay off some debt, and get into some tangible things to help protect and preserve yourself for the future. And of course, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and come back for the next video, because I got a lot of other things to say as well about Mr. Donald J. Trump. that a lot of people may not like, but then again, I got to give you the truth. And of course, there's no benefit in telling you about all this information if I don't give you some strategies and probable solutions to take advantage of. And here's a great opportunity to do such if you haven't, to take advantage of getting these 24 karat gold notes that are the most affordable way of actually being able to hold something physical in your hand at a time when everything's going to digits. Redeeming some of these paper notes and in exchange for getting some real physical gold in your hands that's affordable, then definitely go to buygoldnotes.com or just click the link in the description and take advantage of the opportunity while you still can. And then if you're a silver stacker and want to automate your weight with as little as 1 ounce a month delivered to your door, then consider joining the silver team, where you can be a part of a community of like-minded individuals that dollar cost average monthly as a way of protecting and preserving everything they worked hard for, and then being able to show it off with a neat gift box that's a part of the fun of collecting while preserving your wealth. So if you want to find out more about that, go to mysilverteam.com or just click the description. Join the community. We'd definitely love to work with you and help you get your weight up 1 ounce at a time. And if you're a seasoned vet, this program could be a good way to help you out your friends and family by getting them involved so they can protect and preserve everything they worked hard for. But once again, just share my 2 cents on the matter. Do as you feel. As always, I enjoy bringing these quick takes to you, and I'm going to keep doing them. Catch you guys later.